epidemics are colliding in an unexpected and dangerous way. You know about both of them, but the way they've combined isn't well known. The surge in heroin use is national news, and locally we've reported on the thefts of the painkiller fentanyl from inside hospitals. Our Anastasia Bolton explains the elevated risk to users and even to law enforcement officers when those two drugs intersect.
It's just a phone call you just don't expect to get.
Let's be honest. Sometimes you feel and fear it can happen, but not Renee Ixta.
I think that's why it kind of caught me by surprise as well, too, because you couldn't tell that he was doing anything, like he was still himself.
In February, his brother Edward was found in the bathroom of his parents' house.
Sometimes it feels like he's not gone, but then you kind of like realize like, oh yeah, he is, so.
The coroner said the 28-year-old accidentally overdosed on fentanyl and methadone. We don't know where Edward got the fentanyl and if he intended to take it, and that's kind of the point.
Now what we're seeing is fentanyl being put in not only fake oxycodone pills, they're spraying it on top or making the pills themselves.
Barbara Roach runs the Drug Enforcement Administration Division in Denver.
The user population may actually think that they're getting heroin and coke, and when they're in reality getting fentanyl.
The DEA is so concerned about this, it made it into a teachable moment for law enforcement.
And I want to take a minute today to talk to you about something very important. As a matter of fact, it could kill you, and that's fentanyl.
And we ended up inhaling it.
I felt like my body was shutting down.
We're going to use sugar to demonstrate this.
A Denver health toxicologist shows us it doesn't take much.
Depending on the size and the health of the person, that right there can be deadly.
Dangerous to anyone who's not guaranteed what they're buying.
It could be someone who thinks that they were buying prescription drugs online, and it's actually fentanyl coming from China.
Devastating to a family who's missing Edward every day.
It's not only affecting you, it's affecting your friends and your family and like your loved ones.
For Next, I'm Anastasia Bolton.
One of the reasons the DEA wants law enforcement to be so careful around fentanyl is because it can be absorbed through the skin, make someone sick that way. You know, sometimes we talk about the licenses for pot shops as these rare golden tickets, and most of them are snapped up quickly by people who are looking to get into the lucrative cannabis industry. Then there is this one unclaimed pot shop license in Aurora. One unclaimed license. We knew there had to be a story. The city's lone unclaimed license is in Ward 6. That's the southeast part of Aurora. The city told us it may be because there are not many viable locations in that ward. Newer construction means that it's likely that someone would have to buy a parcel of land and then build a standalone building, which would mean probably borrowing money and crossing paths with banks that are sometimes hesitant to be connected with a federally regulated substance.
Other real estate developers or landowners around there may have some sort of dealings with the federal government, federal financing, insurance, etc. And I think it's those folks that are very wary of dealing with marijuana businesses because cannabis is still technically an illegal substance in the eyes of the federal government.
So even if a business wanted to try for that license, it's currently unavailable. The city of Aurora says it will open up for new licensees soon, though the city couldn't offer an actual date. You know, we always hear about people suing the city of Denver for accidents, slip and falls, injuries involving confrontations with cops. Well, here's a case where the city is going after a homeowner when it was a police officer who got hurt. At the center of the case, dangerous stairs on a front porch. Jeremy Hohola from our 911 Snow team stumbled on this one.
Watch your step. If you've got a bad case of stairs, the city may come after you if a city employee falls down on your property. Take a look on cinder blocks, steps that have seen better days. What happened here could cost the Highland homeowner thousands of dollars.
The law absolutely permits the city and county of Denver to sue a homeowner for negligence.
The city of Denver is suing Warner Ball. 2 years ago, a Denver police officer doing a welfare check on Mr. Ball biffed it on the unstable stairs, hurting his knee. That cost the city about $25,000 in workman's comp. And because the city is self-insured, it's trying to get that money back with this lawsuit. It says a city inspector warned the homeowner about his dangerous steps a year before the cop hurt himself. Seems unusual for the city to sue, but legal analyst Scott Robinson says it's not that uncommon.
Homeowners have no clue that if a police officer is injured on their property, his insurance carrier or his employer, the City and County of Denver, can and often does.
We went looking for the homeowner.
Do not use steps. Use back door.
A warning sign. Eventually, Mr. Ball told us over the phone he didn't want to comment to avoid damaging his case. For Next, I'm Jeremy Hohola.
So some sorry-looking stairs. City Attorney's Office offered up a written statement saying that the Workers' Compensation Act is what gives the city the right to seek damages. It's not clear if Mr. Ball has the homeowner's insurance to take the hit if the city wins its case. Our next question was posed to Steve Steger while out on another story.
I was leaving the Denver courthouse one day when the security guard said, "Hey, newsman, why are all the U's on old buildings spelled with a V?" Well, security guard, here's your answer. This building was erected by the people of the city and county of Denver. Or is it the city and county of Denver? That's no misspelling. The building across the street was built in the year of Ver Lord, 1909. The common misconception is that U's are tough to carve. Not exactly true. To better understand the lack of the vowel, look at the structure itself. It's Roman-style architecture, and that's the classic Latin-style alphabet. 23 letters originally, instead of the 26 we're used to. The actual letter U didn't exist back in that day, but the sound did. So the letter V actually stood for both V and U. It wasn't until the 1600s when printers started using the letter U. Obviously, this building was built afterwards in the 1900s. Consider it a throwback, albeit a little bit confusing. Until next time, I'm Steve Steger.
It's the same explanation for the letter W. It looks like two V's squished together, pronounced W. Homeland Security has a terrorism threat advisory scale. Denver Parks and Rec has a poop advisory level, and that level has elevated once again at the city's busiest dog park, the Rail Yard Dog Park. Parks and Rec sent us a picture today of the yellow level, which means the place needs to be cleaned up or it risks closing like it did last Friday. Come on, people, pick up a bag. Do your duty. Here's your Friday update on RTD's A-Line, the train to the plane. Was it working today? Sorta. Had some signal issues this morning that caused delays, but we're told it's working now. We don't do National Such and Such days here on Next. National Lunch Meat Day, National Take Your Nephew to Work Day, National Cantaloupe Awareness Day. Today, as it seems every newscast in America is losing its mind over National Dog Day, we couldn't help but notice that another national day, perhaps one worth noticing, is pretty well being ignored. Women's Equality Day, which happens to share a day with National Dog Day. It seems like somebody really dropped the ball on that. But anyway, so we will break our rule here on Next, and we will cover a national day, if only to put the spotlight back where it should be today, on the fight for women's equality and the pioneering women who got us to where we are.
I think it was a very controversial issue.
Suffrage amendment proclaimed ratified. Bold headline in the Fort Collins Courier 95 years ago today. The Eagle Valley Enterprise couldn't be bothered to put women's suffrage on the front page. Tucked it back on page 6.
I do suspect that there was some diverse opinion here in Colorado at the time.
We'll meet 9 of the 152 inductees today, women who've had a great influence on our state and world.
Rachel developed the integration plan for the Denver public school system.
Rachel Knoll, the first African-American woman to hold elected office in Colorado. She defied threats to her family to push Denver's landmark school desegregation.
The issue went to the United States Supreme Court, and her plan was upheld by the United States Supreme Court.
Isabella Bird introduced Colorado to the world. Her 1879 book, A Lady's Life in the Rocky Mountains, proved our state's beauty and a woman's resolve to explore the frontier.
A lot of people then became familiar with Colorado and the Rocky Mountains based on the book that Isabella Bird wrote.
Marion Downs changed the course of countless lives as an audiologist urging early screening for hearing issues.
Marion was convinced that the earlier we detected hearing loss in newborn children or in small children, the better their ability would be to function later in life.
We'll meet more exceptional Colorado women on this Women's Equality Day. And we go to great lengths and great heights to avoid the same old locker room cliches from a pro athlete.
So what's it gonna take to make lacrosse a more major sport?
Then we hit the streets in search of the good news that makes up real life, but doesn't always make headlines.
The end of the week and the end of the cool, stormy weather pattern. I'm meteorologist Kathy Sabin, and just in time for the weekend. A beautiful day over downtown Denver. Mix of clouds and sunshine today. And heading into the weekend, look for temperatures back close to where they should be for this time of year. Mid-80s on Saturday, close to 90 on Sunday. And if you're longing for some summer weather, not sweater weather in August, you're going to see that for the last few days of the month. We're actually tracking isolated severe cells that are racing across the Front Range foothills out onto the Central Plains tonight. They're moving so fast, they're not doing a whole lot of damage tonight and won't impact your travel plans. As a matter of fact, we're saying goodbye to the cool air as well. Beautiful day coming up tomorrow, and there'll be 1 or 2 thunderstorms that roll off the foothills. You know the drill this time of year. Partly cloudy, 53 in the city tonight with an isolated storm early, then clearing. Tomorrow, lots of sunshine. Temperatures will warm into the mid-80s in the afternoon. We've got some 90s back in the extended period, and just a beautiful forecast shaping up for the next 5 to 9 days. Our Broncos take the field on Saturday night, and our game time forecast temperature looking pretty good as well. Temperatures in the mid-70s, which hopefully will be a winning forecast.
A pro sports team in Colorado won a national championship and did not get a lot of attention for it. Yes, indeed, the Denver Outlaws are kings of Major League Lacrosse, just as lacrosse continues to struggle to get more attention. Our Brandon Ritteman talked to the guy who scored the championship-winning goal. When attackman Eric Law said yes to the interview, not quite sure if he was expecting the ride.
All right, there we go. All right. I think we're going to go around 2 or 3 times. That's cool with you?
Hey, it's more than fine with me.
10 to 20 grand is the average salary, so you've got to have a day job, right?
Yep. So I actually work for an inner city nonprofit youth organization.
Oh, here we go. So what's it going to take to make lacrosse a more major sport?
I think just getting into more big cities. It's the fastest growing sport in America. The average player in our league is making $10,000. It's going to take someone to come in and buy into the league where guys can make this a full-time job.
All right. Yep, ladder's still full. All right.
Should have told me to wear my cup when I got on here last night.
How many times has the cup saved your life?
Oh, enough to keep wearing it. There's guys, I won't say names, but there's guys that don't wear them, and I don't know what it is. They're just plain stupid.
Well, I suppose there's an element of Darwinism in that, isn't there?
Yeah, very true. The dumbest team name. The Florida launch, Atlanta Blaze.
Blades?
The Blaze.
Blaze.
B-L-A-Z-E.
And what's the cheapest hit you ever put on a guy?
Cheapest hit? I don't know if I can say it on camera.
You're unshakable, Eric.
Oh, there we go.
I think one more. I'm getting better at that drop.
Every time it still gets you up.
It does get you a little. Yeah. One rule you would change.
Dive shots, especially in college. Being able to dive across the crease as an attackman.
Did that work for you in college when you told girls, I'm an attackman?
No, it didn't. I'll be honest.
It's good timing there at the end. Ride was the mind racer at Elitch, by the way. Hey, tell us who else you would like us to take on the ride. We'll reach out to him. Use the hashtag HeyNext to get our attention. And lacrosse fans, we have a longer version of this on YouTube if you want to hear more from Eric Law as he spins and twists. So, did political ads disappear this year in Colorado, or did they just go to a place where everything disappears? That's next. On this Women's Equality Day, we're meeting 9 women who helped shape Colorado in the world. Chipita led the Ute people alongside her husband, Chief Ure, and after his death was a voice for peaceful coexistence with settlers. She urged cooperation, even after she was betrayed by the U.S. government. Madeleine Albright, a stateswoman of the modern era, the first female Secretary of State, grew up in Denver and returns occasionally to the University of Denver, where her father founded the School of International Studies. Babe Didrikson Zaharias is often in the conversation about the best female athlete in history.
I'm not too sure she's not the best athlete ever.
An All-American at basketball, then an Olympic gold medalist in track and field, she went on to become one of the best golfers in history, living and playing in Denver at the peak of her career.
Colorado really helped form Golda Meir.
Israel's only female prime minister spent some of her formative early years in Denver.
And that's when she got very involved with Zionism and the whole Jewish experience.
Dr. Florence Sabin was ahead of her time.
She was known as the First Lady of American Science, and it was based on the fact that she really was one of the very first female researchers of science, and she also opened doors for other women to get involved with medicine and science.
Even in retirement, she helped revolutionize Colorado's health system, cutting the tuberculosis death rate in half. Hattie McDaniel was born to perform and raised in Denver, where her time on the stage at East High propelled her on to Hollywood and into the role of Mammy in Gone with the Wind, for which she became the first African American to win an Oscar. Political ads seem more sparse this year in Colorado. Donald Trump isn't on the air, Hillary Clinton's holding her fire, or perhaps they're both just redirecting it a bit. Snapchat. Originally popular with teenagers who wanted to send each other dirty pictures that would disappear, that Snapchat is now getting into an even dirtier game, politics. This story is produced on Snapchat. Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump have been doing a lot of that these days. Bloomberg says the candidates are pumping a ton of ad money into Snapchat. Millennials, a generation formerly known as whippersnappers, are all over Snapchat. 41% of them snap. This is the first big ad buy for the campaigns on Snapchat, where there is clearly already an appetite for politics. Politico says more voters watch the GOP debates on Snapchat than on TV. Bottom line, TV's out. Snapchat is in. The dirty truth? Someday next will probably just be a Snap account. We have a tendency in the news business to focus so much on the negative that we lose sight of the positive. The good, is what keeps all of us going. The good news that's woven into our everyday lives. So we asked people today a simple question at City Park. What's your good news?
Everybody should get out, be more active. I haven't seen a whole lot of people today, so it stinks that everybody's stuck in their office. So take walks at lunch and come meet Bane.
We came through desert with a broken window requiring ice packs. We came through elevation that produced snow and freezing temperatures and had to trade ice packs for blankets. We got to the hotel, there was no room at the inn, and we decided to go to bed hopeless. But we woke up this morning in Denver, and it's a beautiful day.
Well, it's my quinceañera today. I'm gonna be on TV.
Hours for your quinceañera.
For my quinceañera. Yeah.
Well, I'm about 9 months pregnant, so I'm pretty happy to get this little guy or girl out of me and get to know him. My husband was like, this is the last great thing we could not know. Let's do it. The internet tells us everything. Let's not know if this is a boy or girl, so.
I just got converted at my job. I've been like a temporary employee, so I finally became full-time status like a year ago now, and it's been on the up and up, getting ready to make a purchase on a home finally. It took me some time. We finally got our credit and everything right, so I'm moving up, definitely. That's our next big goal. Get your own room, right? He's quiet.
Moment for your feedback now. Cassie and a bunch of others write, thank you for focusing on Women's Equality Day. Our pleasure, Cassie. Skylar M. Learned something new and visual today, thanks to Steve Stager and Next. Yeah, I thought that was one of Steve's best pieces. And an email. The show sucks. Kyle Clark sucks. Unsigned. What's that? Get that out of here. See you next time.